part 3 of the Savana build, I'm going to talk about the kitchen, the pull-out table, and the back pantry area. The size of the lower kitchen cabinets was determined by the size of our water jugs. I tried to make the countertop as square as possible with the floor. We chose this place for the sink because we wanted access to the gray water to be easy. It took a lot of thinking to figure out how far we wanted the countertops to stick out. The upper cabinets in the kitchen are basically hanging from the ceiling and are fastened to the back wall. Even though I had an idea how I wanted the kitchen to be built, building it and designing both happened at the same time. This is where I decided to do a pull-out table. We put up the wall panel before we finished off the bottom of the upper cabinets. Here's a picture of the van when basically all the framing was done. I still had no idea what to do about this area of the van. Here are the upper cabinet fronts. They're self-closing hinges. The cabinet front is from a piece of wood that I had from a leftover project. It has a nice dark vein running down it. My sliding door panels are nothing but 1/4-inch plywood that slides in the 5/16 groove. I made a custom little cubby hole for our propane stove to sit when we're not using it. I eventually took the area which I didn't know what to do and I made a plywood box and slid it right over it. At this point in the build, the kitchen was really coming along. I have another outlet for running appliances in our kitchen. These were the first doors we used for our water jugs. We eventually switched them over to regular doors. This is when we had all the cabinets and all the drawer faces completed. These were the first doors I made for the gray water tank, but they just stuck out a little too far for me. I replaced the wooden doors for the gray water tank with a homemade green canvas curtain made from the same material as the canvas from the mattress we made for the bed. This is how I completed the impossible corner of the bulkhead wall. We added a rubber seal to go over the edge of the 1/4-inch paneling. I made a laminated plywood step for the van. Eventually I replaced it with a more solid piece of wood. I made a custom insert for the sink, which extended the length of our countertop. We've had plenty of space in our kitchen since the way we built it. The pull-out table is made to sit on top of the drawers when the drawers are pulled all the way out. The drawers themselves are made out of leftover cedar and MDF. When the table is put away, it does not rest on top of the drawers. When not using the table actually rests on a block. That way you can pull the drawers in and out. This is what it looks like when the block is not holding up the table. The table and countertop gives plenty of space for cooking and eating. We wanted the back pantry area to be able to load groceries from the back of the van and be able to access it from inside the van, so we put doors and sliders on both sides of the pantry. The light switch on the back of the pantry is one of 2 3-way switches that control the gallery lights. At this point in the build, I still hadn't finished the cooler cabinet yet. Even though the pantry may look small, it actually does hold a lot of food. I eventually did finish the cooler cabinet. It was the first thing I started inside the van and it ended up being the last thing I finished. The upper portion of the cooler cabinet is used for our clothing and pots and pans and other pantry items. If need be, I made a table that folds down and you can load the cooler from the back of the van. The cooler rides on a cart with 4 wheels, and when it's tucked away, it actually latches to the floor. With all the cabinets built, the only thing left to do was putty and paint. I added this 12-volt outlet to the back of the cooler cabinet. Cover the white of the floor with a rubberized spray-on coating. Even though there may be some small imperfections, we're very pleased with the way the van turned out. Thanks for watching. If any questions, please leave them in the comments.